The amount of things we call responsible that really actually in our bizarre unconscious language means not following my heart. What if we rewire it's responsible to follow your heart? Freedom! Free your prisoned child, move up, ascend to what you want, not what you should do. Do you all hear that? Ascend to what you want, not what you should do. That's making a decision out of love. That's not making a decision out of fear. There might be fear there, but that's making a decision out of the transcending of fear. That's the surgery.
The New York Times, USA Today, and Wall Street Journal best-selling author, 2 #1 specials on Comedy Central, Kyle Cease. At the height of his success, he transitioned from being a comic to being someone who uses comedy to help himself and others transform.
I really believe that no person has ever broken your heart, but they broke your expectations. And by breaking your expectations, they get you closer to your heart.
Deanna says, Hey, Sir Cease, I feel irresponsible and guilty. I have 2 vacant bedrooms in my room. Finances are my largest concern at the moment. What I do have won't last for much longer. I had the rooms listed on Craigslist for months. I haven't had anyone respond that I energetically felt compatible with. I also haven't had many people respond in general. I stopped listing them after I heard you say a couple weeks ago for us to not take action out of fear and to only take the action of that which feels like a 10. I don't want anyone living in my home with me and my babies. My entire insides constrict at the thought of it. Listing my vacant home on Craigslist was done out of fear with the needing of money and what my parents would think. Well, that's beautiful of you to see that. I need the money. So check this out. Can we, first of all, before we figure out the action, can we fully be present for the clearing of what the parents think, right? So in other words, I get that we're not making actions out of that, but that's trying to show you something. So before we do anything, what if we are still in the energy of trying to make an action out of what your parents think? Does this make sense? Like, what if we're still in that energy because it's still so there? So Deanna, take a deep breath in. And what are you worried if your parents don't see you, what happens? If your parents don't see you, what happens? Or if your parents don't get you, what happens? Maybe that fits what I was saying. Okay, so Deanna, one thing we need to say, see, you've been trying to figure out what to do from a fear of looking irresponsible versus a love of irresponsibility, right? So one of the things I want to offer you, Deanna, is to take a deep breath and tell the pattern who has never heard this before, you are allowed to be irresponsible in my body. Am I trying to make you irresponsible, or are you learning a higher level of unconditional love, right? So Deanna, take a deep breath in and say, you are allowed to be irresponsible in my body. And I want you to let that energy receive that. Because everyone has a thing they don't want to be. I had a client the other day, I don't want to be a bad person. Well, you're creating what a bad person is and you're shaming it. So you're doing a bunch of stuff out of your fear of looking like a bad person. But what if instead you get present and tell the energy, you're not saying go be a bad person. You're saying, I love you, even if you are under the arbitrary rules that my church as a child created, or I've created in myself that I probably have misinterpreted anyway, that you're not allowed to be a bad person. Some people think they're a bad person if they don't get all of their gift out. Right? But you don't even know what that means. Like that, there's so many pushing rules there. So if we say you're allowed to be a bad person in my body, you're not going to just start going and robbing everybody or stabbing people. You're going to feel loved in an area you've never felt love. So one of the things, Deanna, we have to work on is if it was okay for you to be irresponsible sometimes and not be in denial that irresponsibility equals love. Do you hear that too? You've actually let your parents make you think that you're loved if you're responsible. This isn't even about irresponsibility, it's about love, but you've wired it to irresponsibility. I love Vivi if she's irresponsible, right? And you might need to become the space to love yourself in irresponsibility. I promise you again, this won't cause you to aim for irresponsibility. It'll cause you to take the load off that's trying to be whatever responsible that your parents assigned you in the 70s or whatever. I do feel the irresponsibility is equal to them cutting me off from love. Yeah. So you have a pattern in your body that says irresponsibility is the lack of love. And that fear is what's running all of this. Now it's great you took that off of Craigslist, but that fear is still there. So maybe you might even find once that's healed, it's fine to put it on Craigslist. And as long as I have a person that's totally safe, or maybe you'll sell the house, or maybe you'll move to a smaller house or whatever, but we can't see the next dimension. We can't see the next dimension of what's on the other side of you feeling loved, right? Yeah, you could rent a room as a storage room. Someone just said, if you, that's great. You could rent a room as a storage room or someone's office or someone coming in at safe hours to have a artistic room or God, who knows, right? So there's so many different ways that this could be happening, but you can't see it because the number one priority to the ego is no matter what, more than making money, don't be irresponsible because I won't be loved. And you might even, some people tie not being loved to, I'll be beaten, I'll be abandoned, I'll be shamed, right? So if you allow irresponsibility to be there, you're going to be shocked if you take a deep breath in and allow it to be there. What could happen? There's an inner child there that's going to be crying because Deanna, one of the things life's trying to do for you is make you your parent, not your physical parents, your parent. Right? It's time for you to become your parents. It's time for all of you to become your parents. The presence of meditation is going to help you become your parents. The pattern is scared of a conditional love that your parents' egos had created. Does this make sense? The parents' egos, doing the very best they can, created that for you to survive, you have to do what they say. You won't get food. You won't have a house over your head. Everything they say is the truth. It's the gospel. So the body's full of all these patterns that it's trying to survive, right? And instead of just trying to impress your parents and not be unloved, you're allowed to not be loved by your parents. Could you imagine that? So Deanna, a question that's coming up frequently is, where are you located? Because maybe there's a safe person from AEB that could rent from you. I don't know, and I do not take any responsibility just in case someone shows up that's not a good person for no responsibility. Sign the disclaimer. Okay, so where are you located? Oh, 10 minutes south of San Francisco. She did. Someone said she might not want to answer that. And I said she did. So 10 minutes south of San Francisco. So one of the things I want to point out to you, Deanna, I don't know the whole thing, is you live in one of the most expensive places on the entire planet, right? I just want to point out, you live in a place that is going, how much challenge can we create? And I don't know if that's you staying close to your parents. I don't know if that's you keeping your job. I don't know what it is, but there is a you going, I'm trying to figure out money, and you're living at a place that costs something like $2 million a day. So it's something to look at too. I was born in San Francisco and my parents are still there. So what if life is trying to actually get you to meet you without your parents' conditional love? Do you hear that all ties in? It's like, oh my God, I don't want to lose my parents' love by being irresponsible. Yeah, you could Airbnb that place for $5,000 a minute, right? It's like a porn sex 900 number to rent an Airbnb in San Francisco, right? You hear what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a good point, right? So you could live most places and suddenly your expenses would be way lower. Dude, even Elon Musk isn't in that place. Like even he's like, I'm the rich person in the world is way too expensive in San Francisco. He's in like Austin. So be open to maybe life is trying to show you that you don't have to only be what you think you need to be to keep the conditional egoic love of your parents. Maybe you need to bring a love of irresponsibility. Maybe you need to bring a love of living somewhere else. Do you want to live somewhere else, Deanna? I'm just curious. You want to live somewhere else. So before you come up with the egoic, but I have to because, just honor that you want to live somewhere else. Where do you want to live, Deanna? What kind of area? But I don't feel like I can do this on my own. But on your own, you're living in San Francisco. Tropical, warm, beachy. Okay. But do you get what I'm saying? No current income. Do you own the house? You said, yes, I do before I asked that. Okay. So I own it. Is the mortgage paid off or down? Is it an upside down mortgage? Would you profit decently if you sold the house? Regular mortgage, would you still, I'd profit. Okay. So I just want to point out, here's another way to see it. You're paying more money and not making the money you can have in order to stay in a place you don't like so you can keep a childhood pattern going. Let's do that again. I'm turning into Dave Ramsey. You're paying more money and keeping a place that you don't want to live in so you can live in a place you don't want to live in and keep a pattern that limits you, that says, I have to be responsible to my parents in the form they taught me years and years and years ago. I hear freedom up the butt here. There's so much freedom here. Think about this. You could go to a new place. You can totally be free. You can have cash in the bank. You can have way less expenses. Are you getting this? You can just go wherever you want. You can rent for a minute. You cannot rent. You can go. You could just go. Deanna says this is a lot. This is a lot to the pattern that's trying to be your parents' egoic idea of responsible. I don't even know why there would even be a question. Like there's literally, it's like, I need to pay a lot more money to stay in prison. That's what I hear. I need a lot more money to stay in prison. I can't take the money I have. You realize your house is a bank account. Like, what if you could sell the house, pocket whatever it is, I don't know, a few $100,000? You don't have to tell us, but we can get an idea, right? You could pocket what? I mean, it's San Francisco. I don't know how far down paid it is, but it could be 500,000. It could be, right? I don't know what it is. Right? A few $100,000 would be in your bank account immediately, right now. And you can put it for sale, and I'm sure BlackRock will come in and buy it instantly for way more cash right out the gate. And you'll have $350,000 or whatever in your bank account right now. And you could go rent someplace that's much smaller in an area that's much cheaper, but it's not cheaper because it sucks. It's cheaper because it's not San Francisco's weird price. You'd also leave the idea that you have to do what your parents say. And you'd start to be you who can be irresponsible. And in your, I'm allowed to be irresponsible, you'd be shocked at how accidentally responsible you are. I don't see anything responsible about staying there. From the little I know, it feels irresponsible to keep it. Have we ever thought about that? We're trying to avoid, like, we have no money, but we have a bank account in the house. We don't want to live in San Francisco. We don't have a job. Deanna says it's an FU to my soul. No, no, no. It's an FU to your pattern. You just said you don't want to live there. You could literally put 300,000 in the bank. You could put 100,000 in Tesla stock. What did you say? I never liked it out here. I've never liked it out here. So how is it an FU to your soul to go? Oh, it's an FU to your soul to stay, maybe you're saying. Yeah, you could vacation rent it too. To stay is an FU to your soul. So do you tie irresponsibility? Is it irresponsible to follow your soul? Is that what your pattern says? I want to follow my soul, but I have to be responsible. When was following your soul irresponsible? I can't think of anything more responsible than following your soul. It's like people associate the word responsibility with this thing that it isn't. Responsibility is not staying imprisoned in your egoic pattern. That's not responsible. That's just, I don't mean to say it in an insulting way, but you're not. But if we don't get it, it's stupid. It's stupid. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that's just stupid. And we call it responsible. The amount of things we call responsible that really actually in our bizarre unconscious language means not following my heart. Right? Not following my heart. What if we rewire it's responsible to follow your heart? I love you too, Deanna. I hope that helps. You should now, right now, because it's going to be scary to your ego that wants to be responsible to your parents. You should call a realtor tonight. Just get an appointment. If they're not there, leave a message, call a realtor tonight, find out what they could sell it for. Right now, the market's crazy high. I'm not saying it won't go higher, but it could crash too. And right now, the market's crazy high. You could get an appointment tonight. You could have 300,000 in your bank next week. You might, in that area, get it more than you think. Then you don't have a money issue. So yes, thank God we didn't start renting rooms out to people so you could stay in a place you actually didn't want to live. You could just have the money, go get a smaller place. Isn't this exciting? What did you all get from that answer? I know we just point blank turned Deanna around. This is how a one-on-one can change everything. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like it's all perspective. Do you get how all of our pain is perspective? That was without Deanna even here on the call for about 20 minutes. This is why I love doing this, because I was thinking the other day, I was telling Vivi's amazing mom, Christy, I said, I've had this experience where I've done whatever it's been for the last 2 years, like 1,000 one-on-ones. And I got to watch all of them change. And I only get to know about it. Like I haven't been able to do it publicly, right? I can't release all the one-on-ones. They're all private, right? So I get to like have this experience where I got so good at it. Like, I mean, it's universe doing its work, but you get to see this. And I say that to you because this can happen for you if you stay in it. Wait till you get to 3 years of meditating, right? Wait till you get to you understand you. Like Deanna, a meditation might have shown you what I just showed you, right? That's how big a meditation is. That literally we just turned Deanna's income around, right? Right there. Deanna said it hasn't yet. You got to keep going. Because it'll start to show you, and it'll always show you things you think don't tire. Like, what do I do about money? What do I do about money? And then the meditation's like, I got to be responsible for my parents. And the meditation's like, yeah, great. I got to get people in there. I don't even want people to rent from me. The meditation's like, you have a thing about being responsible for your parents. You meditate longer. And it's like, oh, you're scared to be irresponsible. Oh, boom. We just cleared that. We didn't even fully clear it. I cleared my thought of her having it, and we came up with this solution. Do you get it? This is big. I turned into Seinfeld. You got to do it. Why would you not sell the house? Sell the house. Do you feel relief, Deanna, when I say sell the house? Why are we selling a house? You don't feel relief? Well, now I don't know what to do. I feel lots of fear that you might look irresponsible to your parents. That fear is perfect. I'm just curious. Check this out. Deanna, I want you to picture that you and I, this is going to help a lot. I want you to picture, Deanna, that you and I flew over all of America with a helicopter, okay? And I want you to picture you do not have the history of the house, that you do not have the history of the house, okay? I want you to imagine you and I flew over America with a helicopter, and I'm like, you can live everywhere you want. Before we even bring price in, would you pick the house you're in now? You can live at any place you want, right? Any place. I want you to pick. I'm flying over all of America. Okay, even with price not a thing, you would not pick the house you're in. This is a big way I make decisions. It's very good to make decisions without all of the past shit to consider, because then you're moving from the prison of your past, right? So we're flying over with a helicopter, and before we even bring price into it, hear that you would pick Hawaii or Florida, okay? You just said that. I'd pick Hawaii or Florida, okay? Got it. Now, what if I said, just so you know, the house that you wouldn't pick is one of the most expensive houses, and by staying in it, you're going to be in massive debt. Would you want to pick it more? You're going to be low on money. You're going to have no income. But I will happily give you $375,000 to live anywhere else. Imagine we're flying over. Okay, I know you don't want to live in that San Francisco house, but I'm just going to let you know. Also, if you choose it, it will put you in a place where you're constantly stressing about money. Right? Oh, we have a realtor. Michelle says, I'm a realtor in Las Vegas. You could buy an awesome home here with California equity. Don't take an offer from an instant offer or investor marketing. You'll make money listed on the open market with competition. I'm happy to give you or anyone free advice anytime. Holy shit. Look at this. The Absolutely Everything Pass has people helping people here. Michelle, you're awesome. Michelle, if you want to share your website, I'm a real estate broker as well in California. So we have a realtor here, right? We have two realtors here. Those are different M named women. Isn't this fun? Are you guys getting this? So we have two realtors here who are happy to assist. If you want to, feel free to share what your website is. You're probably gonna get a bunch of calls. But if we're looking at this place, Deanna, and we're going, okay, I don't want to live here. Do you hear that? I don't want to live here, so I'm not going to choose it even before price is a factor. We really don't want to live here if it's the only place you don't have any liquid cash, if it's the only place you don't feel good in, if it's killing your soul, you wouldn't choose this. So it's your past childhood you that's choosing it. This is why we can't let ego make our decisions. This is why meditation is going to change your life, because it's going to transcend the ego that would have tied you and said, who I am is my, would your family love you less if you went somewhere else? And if they did, is that a good? Is that a good reason to stay? It's time to make you, I don't know how old you watch Deanna 7. I just realized, what if Deanna's 7? Honestly, I would love, they wouldn't love you less. Good. Well, if they would or wouldn't, if they would love you less, I'd say then get out of there. And if they wouldn't love you less, I'd say get out of there. So it's up to you. So look at my flow chart. And if, okay, they would love me less is get out of here. But wouldn't is, it's get out of here. Freedom. Free your prisoned child. Move up. Ascend to what you want, not what you should do. Do you all hear that? Ascend to what you want, not what you should do. That's making a decision out of love. That's not making a decision out of fear. There might be fear there, but that's making a decision out of the transcending of fear. That's the surgery, right? The other one is making a decision out of have to. I believe that 2022 could be really magical if you have an understanding of what's going on and do the constant work of really being in surrender and letting the universe remove from your body what you're not. Join me and my team for an insane, powerful 2-day event, and join us on the Absolutely Everything Pass. Join a community of people who are in the same work as you. I can't wait to see you there.